We're back.
We are, yeah. So last week we were speaking about the flowers on the baby toes, but I thought this for today's Tip Tuesday we'd go through Echeveria. So this is probably my second time having a go with trying to grow Echeveria from seed, and I'm much happier with this time round than last time. So I've been a little bit more patient with it. So you'll see here we've got a few different varieties here, and they're mainly, well, most of them are agavoides. Agavoides don't pup very easily. So you'll see this ebony here. I've had this one for about 5 or 6 years, and it's only just starting to throw out its first pup. So you can see why a lot of people will try and grow them from seed. So this is ebony seedlings right here that we've tried. So we sowed these in November, straight after it had finished, or we harvested the pods, and yeah, so this is what November. It's about 3 months growth right there.
So they really look not really much like.
Yeah, they just look boring, just green little seedlings. But as they get a little bit bigger, start to go through a little bit of stress. So if I've haven't watered them as regularly, then they'll start throwing a bit of colour. So you'll see here, this is Romeo, and you can start seeing
Romeo.
Yeah, your Romeo there. And we did really well with Romeo. I mean, for this time round. I'm quite happy with it, but you'll see this one was done a month earlier than, so that was done in October, but you can already start seeing some pink blush through there. So that's your typical Romeo color there. And I think because it's not bunched up with as many seedlings here, you can start to see that some of these seedlings are growing quite quickly. They've got space and room to grow. And they're looking very happy. So these we'll start to prick these out fairly soon, and we'll put them into cell trays, which when you've got quite a fair bit of them, it can take a little while. Here we did Reuben, wasn't as good. I think I may have had the tray, because I had them growing under benches just to protect them from as much light as I could, and I think they got scorched a little bit. So, but still happy. They're still, there's about 20 or 30 seedlings right there. It doesn't look it, but they are. So yeah, but hopefully next year will be a bit better. Yeah, so it is a good way to try and get more babies from your agavoides like these guys, because they just take so long to pup. Some people will head chop them, so they'll take the center out and they'll multiply, but you may only get a couple of pups out of it from doing that, and whereas from seed you can get a couple hundred or 1,000, just depends on how successful you were with pollinating the pods. So again, yeah, it's good to have 2 specimens so you can cross-pollinate between the two. This one here, we've got a little bit adventurous, I did, and I've actually tried to cross-pollinate from different varieties here. So I missed the label, and I can't remember whether I've used the pollen from the Romeo or the Zaragoza with Lindsayana, but I'll be able to tell as it gets a bit bigger, and from the shape of it, they kind of look a bit like a Zaragoza there. So I'm thinking I've used the Zaragoza pollen. So
mystery plant.
Yeah, so it is pretty cool to try and create your own hybrids. It was just an experiment, and if I enjoy it, I might try something new next spring. And this one here, we used pollen from our Romeo, and we've cross-pollinated it with Lilacina there. So yeah, pretty cool to see what that turns out to be later on there. But yeah, it's really handy, great way to give it a go. It can be sometimes a little bit tricky to do, but it is a fun way to try and do it. And once you start seeing seedlings germinate, it's very rewarding. I get excited over it, so hope you do too. Yeah, so I'm starting to lose my train of thought. I had something in my head that I was going to continue to go through, and
how often do you water them? Did you say that?
So yeah, you want to make sure that the mix is fairly moist all the time. As they start to get to say this size with the Romeos, then you slowly start to back off. So I'll put them into just a plastic crate, which I would have created a little bit of a mini greenhouse. So you would have seen that when we sowed our lithops seed, the Lettuce albinicas. So I did that exactly the same as these guys. So you want to increase the humidity. Here in Mudgee we have low humidity most of the time, so it's a perfect way to increase your humidity for seed growing. So I use it in a plastic crate. I'll leave them in there for quite a long time. And yeah, with watering, because they're quite fragile here, so if you're watering with a watering can, you can easily disturb the plant. So it's also good just to pour it straight into your container, and the plants will uptake that from the bottom. So bottom watering there. So yeah, you want to make sure that they're quite moist all the time. Avoid a lot of light, because they can burn really easily, as you would have seen here from not as many Reuben seedlings coming through. So we generally just have them under our benches, and then as summer's over, I'll start to bring them out a little bit more and start to expose them to a bit more light to harden them off.
I know what you were going to say. Maybe.
What's that?
Spray that stuff on so they don't get fungus.
Yeah, that is actually one of the things I was going to bring up. So yes, so because you're going to have high humidity, there's always a chance of fungus getting in there, or some other disease. So it is really good to use like your mancozeb, which is perfect to avoid damping off, or any other fungal attack there. So it's even still good to use it even now, because these seedlings are so bunched up together. They're not going to have as much circulation, ventilation in amongst them, so it is also good as a preventative to use it as well. And yeah, I think that's all I had to say. Hopefully you found that helpful and really cool, like I have. Give that a go. Next spring, it's kind of a bit late now. We're only just harvesting some seed pods off my Canty. Canty are another one that they don't grow as easily with pups. They can go from leaves, but I've had a lot of people say from seed is best for those guys. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get some good numbers of them going. Yeah, so wait till spring. It's another good way to give that a go, or to do something in the spring. If you have any other questions, please shoot them through. Keep liking, subscribing. Keep bringing up other topics that you'd like us to talk about. We can always add them to the list and share our thoughts on that too. So have a great week, and we'll catch you next week.